20 feet, 10 meter high back wave and a 40 meter tall. It's like a chopper. Water becomes a chopper. So this is the ocean of Madhurya Rati. We have Sanchari Bhavs, or the whirlpools and waves. It's all very beautiful analogy, imagery. So now, Grihita Manasa, the gopis' minds are stolen by Krishna. Now we know it's Radha and the Brajastriya. Now we know the effect. The flute has hit its target. Krishna's Jagokalam has passed through the ears of the Vamadrisham and enchanted and turned their minds, Manoharam. And now, Anangavardhanam, it's turned their minds, attracted their minds, that flute player. Romantic love is reaching a fever pitch, so much that, because when you get a hot fever, a high fever in your body, what happens? Your mind blacks out. If anybody knows medicine. If your fever goes 103, 104, for a few days you can die. Your mind, you become delirious. One of the signs of fever in the body, delirious. Your head starts whirling. You start becoming dizzy. Too much heat in the body. Like your car, if it overheats, what happens? The radiator cracks, it blows up, it stops running because it'll crack the engine block if you don't stop. So we crack our blockhead. We get too hot. So we go a little crazy. When we get, like some people say, oh, he's hot-headed, he's gone crazy. When people are in Rajagun, or they get very angry, they become hot-headed and they start throwing things. The gopis became crazy because of Krishna's love. Krishna was calling them. God was calling them. Oh, what is happening? God is calling me specifically. It happens to a sadhu, a sadhak, a saintly person who's following sadhana. At some point, he'll experience God. It's called revelation. Revelation, illumination, spurti, vision. Darshan is a high thing. But he'll feel the profound presence of God. That he feels that somehow his body has become seized by a higher power. It's not a bhoot. It's not a negative force. It's not a debilitating or crippling energy of some tamasic origin. It's actually divinity mixing with, it's the appearance of the infinite mixing with the finite. Divinity mixing with man. God mixing with man. Because of Sharanagati, surrender, and lifetimes of dedication and seva and bhajan. And then God will enter his senses as a strong feeling of God's love, of God's protection, of God's presence everywhere. That's a sporty, a heart sporty, an emotional sporty. It comes from the heart. And then so much eagerness comes in that sadhaka. So much anxiety, autsukya, impatience, eagerness. And so much intensity in his bhajan. And so much detachment. And so much yearning. Utkanta. So much yearning to experience that beloved in his mind, to have some vision, some deep perception. Meeting of the Lord in the mind, what's called a spurti or vispurti, or what to speak of the most coveted prize of sadhana, Saksha Darshan of Krishna, Saksha Darshan of Ram. This is the ever-growing captivation and takeover of the Lord over surrendered Sharanagata Jeev's heart and life. So it gets to the point with the gopis, because they were already totally dedicated and totally surrendered. So when Krishna simply played their flute, because they were day and night, they were hearing and talking about Krishna's flute. We discussed this class before. From the beginning of the day, it's the flute. In the middle of the day, it's discussions of the flute. Afternoon, it's hearing the flute and seeing the flute player. And at night, it's hearing Krishna playing his flute in Barsana, or hearing Krishna way in the distance in the forest, practicing in some nearby forest, practicing his flute to control the seasons. Throughout the rainy season, for 4 months, Krishna was intensely practicing the flute at night, giving any kind of excuse to sneak out of his room and post the coward boys there as guards, Dhamma, Sudama, Vasudama, and Kinkini, who represent his mind and senses. They have different representations of Krishna's consciousness. There's these four. Dhamma, Sudama, Vasudama, and Kinkini. And there's Astasakas. These are four that represent Krishna's very being. That's a tattva point. So they're guards, because they know his mind, his heart, everything. But they're house servants. And they also come with him, sometimes in cowherding, usually Sridham and Subal, etc. They're very intimate to Krishna. So they know where Krishna is going, and they cover for him if his mother if a lightning storm comes and it's rainy season and has come thunder. Oh, is my Lala scared? Is my Lala upset? I better go to his room and check on him, because he's a young boy. He's sleeping in his palace bedroom. So Mother Yashoda comes. Oh no, Yashoda, everything's fine. We just checked on Lala. He's sound asleep. You don't want to disturb Lala, because he was running so all long. You see how tired he was last night at dinner. He could hardly lift his food. He was so tired. Don't disturb him. Please, we love Lala. Oh yes, boys, you're right. I don't want to disturb my Lala. And they somehow redirect Yashoda back to her room. There's no one inside Krishna's bedroom. Just his guards telling all kinds of interesting lies to cover for their friend who's out in the forest at midnight practicing his flute to see whether he can control the seasons and control the flowers and can control the moon. I'm a little boy, 10 years old. All I have is a flute. I'm not Indra with armies and powerful weapons and Brahmastra weapons. And I'm not Ravana. And I'm not these great demons of the universe and Bali. I'm simply a cowherd boy. Gopal, Govinda, Damodar. What can I do to control Chandradev? Chandradev, Suryadev, Indradev, Varunadev, the Devas. The great Devas, the worshipful lords and masters and controllers of this universe. I control a handful of cows, and it's a big trouble for me. I have a big trouble controlling a handful of cows, just getting them out of the barn every day, the Goshala, and getting them back, 1, 2, 3. I have to have a whole necklace of 108 jewel beads to count each group of cows. I get confused. 107 or 108? I can't even count to 108. And these Devas, Chandradev, Suryadev, they know Sanskrit, Devanagari, they write in Sanskrit. I only know Braj Bhasha. I can speak to the parrots. I can speak to the cows. I can speak to the deer and peacocks. What is this Devanagari? Sometimes they come here, Brahm, Shiv, Indra, Varuna. They come when Uttara goes to Leela, when I'm returning from the cows, and they fold their hands and they play all these instruments. I don't know what they are. It's some kind of celestial instruments, big strings and all these things. And then someone said it's Rig Veda, Madhamangal. I said, Madhamangal, what is that? And he said, that's some stutis and stotrams from Rig Veda. Rig Veda? What's that? Anyway. So they all kinds of Sanskrit poetry and elaborate stutis and stotrams to glorify Krishna. Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. Every afternoon about 4:35 in the evening when Krishna's coming back to the Goshala from the Goshta. Krishna doesn't understand a word. He's thinking in the rainy season, how will I be able to control these gods? They don't know my language. I have no astras. A bamboo flute which is worth 1 paisa. I'm supposed to control Indra, which I did. I'm supposed to control Brahma, which I did later. And I'm supposed to control Chandra, the moon god. I'll try. Took me 4 months to bring him under control, to wrestle him down. Practicing. And all that time he was supposedly sleeping in his room in Nandagram, under his covers. So this is that Krishna, and this is the gopis. So they're hearing that flute late at night before he actually called them. Who could that be? Lalita. Lalita sleeps with Radharani. And sometimes Lalita or Vishaka, they take turns spending the evening with Radha. caring for her. And some assorted different manjaris. And they have their houses nearby Barsana and different Sakhigaon, Anjanakot and Chiksoli and Onchagaon. They have their own gowns nearby, all around the Barsana, Radharani, Barsani Wali. And then there's, such a nice flute, but who is it? It can be anyone. It can be some sadhu wandering through Braj Mandal on his way to Haridwar or going to Allahabad. Who knows? So many men, it could be rishis, Bhagwari Rishi or Garga Rishi, Durvasa Muni. Who knows the talents of the sages? Or could it be some devas, some celestials, apsaras, or Gandharvas? They've come to Braj to sport in our woodlands, to dance on our beach our beach fronts or our sandy banks of Yamuna. Who knows who it is? Do you know, Lita? I don't know. But I know one thing. I'm very attracted to that flute. It's whoever it is, whether it's an apsara practicing or enjoying dancing with his Gandharvas and apsaris in the forest, relishing our Braj. They've come all the way here in their Wahans. I don't know who it is, but sounds so good. From when they are waking up in the morning, the gopis are hearing Krishna's flute. When they look out the palace window and see Krishna pass by, they hear Krishna's flute. Throughout the day, they gather together and they hear Krishna's flute by glorifying Krishna's flute and the flute player and his various exploits and this demon and that demon, like this. And then in the afternoon, they hear Krishna's flute. Then in the evening, they hear Krishna's flute. During Sham, and then Rat, then Nisha. 24 hours a day. They know Krishna's flute. But on this particular night, on Sharad Purnima, that same flute became the Murali, special flute for special people, Brijbasis, on a special month and a special season. The Murali Vadana, Murali Manohar Krishna. Previous verse we found out that Krishna played his flute and had the effect of Manohar. Jigokalam Manoharam. Now we find that Manoharam is Murli Manohar Krishna. Krishna Grihita Manasa. Manohar Krishna seized, Grihita, captured, took over, captivated the minds of the gopis, Manasa, and hearts, Manasa, and lives, Manasa, with his flute playing. So now, in verse 4 out of 172 verses, now we have the hero, we have the heroine, and we have the flute. It's going on. As I said, as the flute is part of the gopis' lives from morning, noon, and night, the flute is part of the Rasa Leela from the beginning, middle, and end. Rasa Leela means flute. Rasa Leela means gopis. Rasa Leela means Krishna, and Rasa Leela means Vrindavan. That's why when we're speaking on Rasa Leela, we can't help but think we're discussing Krishna, we're discussing Radha, and we're in Vrindavan. So the only thing missing is our flute player, Gauranga Das. So we felt from the beginning he is essential. There's no Rasa Leela without the flute. It doesn't start. It can't begin without the flute. It can't be sustained without the flute. And how much did Krishna play the flute? For 1 hour? Did he play from 2:30 in the afternoon until 5:30? He played for millions and millions of years. He played the flute for an entire day of Brahma. That's how many nights they danced and danced. Brahma Ratra Upavrate. Brahma Ratra Upavrate. It's telling in chapter 33, verse 40. A Brahma Ratra, a night of Brahma. Millions and millions of nights. That's a lot of flute playing. Gauranga Das says easy, only an hour. 1 hour, 1 ghanta. Krishna, Ananta, crore ghanta. So we're thinking to have maybe continue these classes in Kartik. But only if Gauranga comes and plays the flute. Tell him in Hindi, he knows Hindi. Samajhte? Mere yacha aapka Kartik mahina jayega. Ke saath flute. Then Radha, Krishna, I'm only the observer. There's Radha, there's Krishna, there's Vrindavan, there's a flute player, so there it is. The Ras Leela, I'll just watch like everyone else. I'm not necessary. Flute player is necessary. Vrindavan is necessary. And Radha and Krishna. So Bhagavatam is Radha Krishna Sarup. And we're discussing in Vrindavan. This is the Brajastali, Braja Leela Stali Shiromani Radha Kund. Brajadam Leela Stali Shiromani Brajadam Shridam Vrindavan Leela Stali Shiromani Shri Radha Kund Dham. Radha Kund is called Radha Kund Dham. This is Shridam Vrindavan, Nandagram Dham, Gokul Dham. But this is Leela Shridam Vrindavan, Leela Stali Shiromani Radha Kund, Shri Radha Kund Dham. The crest jewel, the crown of all the Leela Stalis and all the Dhams and all of Vrindavan. This is Radharani's heart. This is Radharani, Sakshat Radharani. Radhakund is Radharani. We see Bade, we see difference, we see turtle, we see panda, we see so many things. Kuta, we see Bandur, Kuta, sewer, many things we see in Radhakund village. But the Rasik Jana, the Brijvasi, he sees this is Radharani. I am doing Radharani Prikrama. Any Gaon Wali, any Gaon Wala, any Radhakund, like we say, Barsane Wali Radhe, Radhakunda Wali, Radhakunda Wala. They see Radhakund as Radharani. You ask anyone, what is this? What is this? What is the name of this Kund? Is this Pavan Kund? Is this Manasi Ganga? Dani Vartan Kund? Is this Govinda Kund? Kund? This is Radharani? Baba. Acha. What is the name of that Kund, that lake, that Pukor? It's Sham Sundar. It's Radharani. I'm doing, and they already mentioned Shama Sundar actually. They say, I'm doing Radha. Hey, they ask the children, the children ask their fathers or mothers here in Radhakund village. Oh Mata, some of my girlfriends, we want to do Radharani Prikva. Yes, do Radharani Prikva. Take one garland. Take one garland, offer to Radharani. I made one mala. Offer to Radharani. This is their vichar. This is their vision. This is their bhav. Braja bhav. Can't imitate it. Oh yes, the Radharani is. Can you imitate love? Oh, I'm in love. I'm really in love. Acha. Where's your lover? I don't know. I don't have one, but I'm really in love. Oh, I'm in love. You can't fake it. You can't fake that you're in love or you have a lover. You know it. You can't fake Brajabhav. You can pray for it. You can die for it. Can't buy it. Can't fake it. You can't bribe for it. Look, I'll give you a bribe. I'll give you a bribe. Can you give me Brajabhav? It's causeless mercy. Ahoituki. Ahoituki. Ahoituki kripa. Ahetu. Hoituki in Bengali or Sanskrit. There's no hetu. There's no cause. There's no karan. If Radharani gives the bhav, if Brijvasi gives the bhav, if Gopi gives the bhav, if a Rasik Bhakta gives the bhav, that's their prerogative, that's their right. But it's available here in Brajadam. So if you go to the stock market, it's easier to buy and sell stocks because they have a stock market in Bombay, I believe. And the famous one in New York City, Wall Street. It's the name of a street and it's all this type of whatever that is, buying and selling. So if you want, Brajadam means Brajabhav. Prem Dham Vrindavan, Bhav, this is a place of Bhav. Anyone can receive Braja Bhav. You don't have to be Indian. Only if you're Indian you get Braja Bhav. Does Bhav have a nationality? Does love have love is there's only Indian love. There's no such thing as French love. Oh, you're Videshi. You can't have Braj Bhav. People say it like that. Okay. Whatever. If it takes Indian birth, then let me take Indian birth. Whatever it takes. But I'm not so external in my calculation. The logic is no logic. You have to be Indian to get Braja Bhav. Do you have to be Indian to fall in love with a woman? No Western man falls in love with a woman. Is love by nationality? Is Bhav by nationality? Is kindness? There's only kindness. There's only Indian kindness. There's only Indian charity. There's only Indian respect and honor and obedience. It's absurd. It's illogical. People sometimes say that. Oh, no, Swamiji, you're very nice. You take birth as Indian, then you can get Braja Bhav. Because you have to know Hindi to get Braja Bhav. You only know, there's no Bhav in English. I agree. But I'm not English. I'm Jivatma hoon. May Jivatma hoon. I'm Jivatma. Radha Krishna is God and is Shakti. You believe in God? I believe in God. God is a person? Yes. And God has energy? Yes. The energy is personified. Jesus is the Son of God. His father is Joseph and his mother is Mary. Are they persons? And he said, God is the Father. Love the Lord thy God with all thy thoughts, words, and deeds. Mano kaya vakya. Jesus taught bhakti. He said, Father. And so I asked the priest, what's his name? They said, I don't know. They said, Yahweh, Yahweh, Jehovah, Allah, and Hindus call him Ram and Krishna. God has so many names. We call him, in Greece they call God Adonai, A-D-O-N-A-I, Adonai, or Adonai. He is the Father, and the Father is personal. So you can have Bhav for God and be a Christian. You can be a Christian with Bhav. Yes. So Braja Bhav is that special sweetness where Radha and Krishna, they're your family members. They're like your friends. Giriraj is your Baba. And Krishna is your Lala. It's real. So this is the Grihita Manasa, that Krishna, he totally sees the gopis' minds with his flute playing. So now, as we mentioned, when someone loses their mind, they tend to forget things. There's a disease in the modern world called amnesia. I don't mean something you take when you have diarrhea. Milk of amnesia, milk of magnesia. There's some magnesium sulfate. Magnesium sulfate mixed with some other things they call milk of magnesia. So I call it milk of amnesia as a joke when I was a carpenter. Forget your constipation. Amnesia, do you know what that is? Yes, no? No, yes. You're riding on your motorcycle, you get hit on the head by a board behind a tree, you fall behind a truck, and you fall off and you forget. Your hard drive gets a tap, boink, and it doesn't function anymore. You become forgetful. Someone says, oh, you're all right? Yeah, I'm all right. That board was, that long luckily board was sticking out behind the truck. He turned a corner and hit me and I fell off. I have my helmet on, I'm okay. I'm a little shooken up. I think I'm all right. Oh, look, brother, you're all right. Here, take some soft drink or whatever, relax. And he set the guy's motorcycle up and, you're all right? Yeah, I'm okay. So where are you going? Where do you live? Where am I going? Oh, buddy, where are you going? You're going home or going back to work or where? I don't know. Acha, you don't know. You look at his eyes, are you all right? And then, what's your name? My name. I don't know. He said, wait a minute, are you all right? Yeah, I'm okay, I think so. Like, sit down. Don't mind, I don't know you, but are you on some drug or something? Or, no, I don't know. Then he said he realizes it's called amnesia. You get some shock, you crack your head, or you fall down, you hit your computer. It's like a computer. Like you drop your computer on the ground, sometimes it doesn't work so well, yes? Maybe Toot Gaya? Yeah, your pear goes Toot Gaya. Pear, mango, whatever the name of your computer is, right? Pear, mango. You have a mango computer or pear? I really like the save model. Save computer, that's closer to the point, right? I have a save. And I think if you know what that is in English, you can draw the conclusion. If you drop it on the ground, it probably won't do much except moan and groan and spark a little bit. So what to speak of this vast computer up here? It gets a jolt. This happens sometimes. It's a phenomenon. They take you to the hospital and then they have to use hypnosis and all kinds of therapy to bring back, to try to revive your memory. So when you go, and this is a type of craziness, when you go a little crazy due to some impairment of your mental functions, then you forget your name, where you live, and you're in the hospital. I've studied psychology at university about this disease, and they bring your loved ones, because that's how they try to revive your memory, by bringing objects in your life that you have association with, like your mother. You're only 20 years old, and you're living at home. They bring your mother into the hospital. Say, here's your mother. And he looks. He says, and she comes and caresses her son. I'm your mother. And you see, you recognize? No, I don't know. I don't know who you are. Kone? Ab kone? I'm your mata, I'm your mother. Are you okay? Are you, beta, hello, it's me, This is a mental disease, you've studied. So then they bring in your sister and your father and maybe your wife if you're just married, your teachers. So many treatments they use, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So the result of this condition is you become self-forgetful. Or at least you can say you forget everyone around you. So that's what the Acharyas are saying, that this word, Grihita Manasa, indicates that the gopis become self-forgetful. Because if your mind, the Manasa, gets Grihita, gets captured or conquered and stolen, it's like the mind got shaken up or jolted. And in that jolt or that capture or that conquest, then there's a loss of identity or a loss of connection with your surroundings, with your relatives, with your family, with your body, with your relations. And you become forgetful. But in the case of the gopis, because of their intense love for Krishna and the object, who stole their mind? Brajastriya Krishna Grihita Manasa. It was none other than Krishna, the Brajanagar, the hero, the romantic hero of Braj. He stole their minds with his romantic Murli nod. The sweet sound of his Murli flute entered their ears and seized their minds and disrupted their mental computer. They became forgetful. Oh, a husband and children and cooking and dressing. They even became forgetful of themselves. Became self-forgetful. They were unaware. They became self-forgetful means you become aware. They became unaware of their own bodies and their surroundings, their duties. They became unaware of their body, their duties, and their relatives, and everything. So this is another elaboration on the first verse. Ananga Vardhanam as intense romantic divine love increases in the heart of the Premi Bhakta, in this case the Madhurya Premi Bhaktas, the Braja Gopis, Ananga Vardhanam, as it increased to mountainous proportions, then they became totally enchanted and enraptured and surrounded by Krishna's love, and their minds became seized. And in that seizure of their minds, they became self-forgetful. They forgot their own bodies. People may forget their relatives, but they don't forget their bodies. They may forget their surroundings, but they remember to brush their hair, or they remember to decorate themselves, or to dress properly, or to eat or drink. They forgot everything. And this intense unmad of their divine love. And because they forgot, became self-forgetful, this grihita manasa indicates that they became ananga. Ananga vardhanam. Ananga means romantic love, intense desire to serve and love Krishna to the extent that it resembles the material Kamadev. It looks like lust, but it's divine surrender. It looks like exploitation, but it's pure dedication. It looks like selfish enjoyment, but it's the epitome of selfless service. This is the gopis' immaculate divine Brajamadurya Prem. It's called Nirmal. Nirmal Vishuddha Brajamadurya Prem. Totally transcendental and pure. The most pristine, clearest example of love of God, divine love, the Braja Gopis. They're the epitome, the paragon, and the zenith of all the devotees described in the Bhagavad Puran. It's that history of the great lovers of Krishna, the great lovers of God, the Savior Bhagavats, the Sadhakas, the Mahabhagavats, the King Pritus, and all these great devotees, and Prahlad, and Dhruv, and so many great devotees are there. Throughout the Bhagavatam, glorified. Kunti, Queen Kunti, and Draupadi, and the Pandavas, and Hanuman in 9th canto, everywhere. Rishabhadev and Bharat Maharaj, all Vishnu Bhaktas, and Ambarish, and finally the Gopis, the paragon, the top, Param Bhakt. And they're not kings, they're not tapasvis, they're not yogis like Dhruva, they're not royal children born in demoniac family like Hiranyakashipu's issue, Prahlad, Bhakta Prahlad. They're not Kim Purushas, educated, cultured human forms that appear as monkeys, the Kim Purusha Hanuman, who spoke Sanskrit and knew the Vedas, and all mystic cities like a great yogi. But his form appeared like man, but something like Bandur. Banara is called Banara. Banara means Bandur, and Nara is a monkey speaking Sanskrit. A monkey who knew the Vedas. He knew Ayurveda, Jyotirveda, everything, all mystic cities. Anima city, Lagima city, Prapti city, Kamavasita city. Smaller than the smaller, bigger than the biggest. Acquire anything he wants from a distance. Ishitva city. He can create a planet, create a mountain. Asta cities. This is the Kim Purush Hanuman. All these devotees are described in Bhagavad Puran to show the exaltation and the supreme mahima of the Braja Gopis, who are highlighted and glorified and spotlighted in the Ras Leela of the 10th canto. So this is the intensity of their surrender and dedication. Their minds are totally seized, and they became self-forgetful. Because you see the example in first canto, Pandavas. Pandava Arjun. He was a great devotee, or he is a great devotee. A Sakya. He's a Saketi of Krishna, Krishna Saketi, a friend of Krishna. And this Gaurava Sakyarati. Gaurava Sakyarati. It's Sakyarati, it's friendship with some Gaurav, some respect, some honor, some distinction.